Namaskar and welcome to Sansad Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our show Perspective, where we bring you detailed analysis of key national and international issues as well. Today we're going to talk about a very important and a significant aspect, and that is about the future of Punjab vis-a-vis the new government which has been installed there. Now, Bhagwant Mann took oath as Punjab Chief Minister at Khatkar Kalan on Wednesday. Aam Aadmi Party has formed its first government in Punjab after securing a thumping victory with 92 seats out of 117 and 42% votes in the recently concluded assembly elections. Aam Aadmi Party's victory in Punjab is considered significant as this less than a decade-old party demolished the veterans of the electoral politics in the state, the Congress and the Shiromani Akali Dal as well. Amidst all the euphoria around this electoral will, Aam Aadmi Party now faces an uphill task in running the affairs of this border state. As ruling party, AAP will now be held accountable for its 10-point agenda, which was presented and promised during the elections, along with tackling various other issues such as dealing with the state's financial crisis also. So what is the plan of the new ruling party in Punjab and what are the key focus areas for this new state government? Today, we'll try and analyze all the aspects of this particular issue. And for more on this, we're joined by two distinguished panelists here in the studio. Let me first welcome them here. Mr. Narayan Das Gupta, the Member of Parliament from Aam Aadmi Party in Rajya Sabha. We also have with us Mr. K.V. Prasad, Senior Journalist. Welcome, both of you gentlemen. Let's start by looking at what is important and what is significant. And I'd like to begin by congratulating you, Mr. Gupta, on your party's first government outside Delhi. In fact, this is a historic and an emphatic win as well. But with this historic win comes, serious and very important challenges as well for your party.
If we look into the past of the Punjab, how I feel it, because I have been from the joint Punjab also. Haryana, that became later on in 1966. So originally we were all. I have seen that the importance of the Punjab in terms of everything. Now in the last 50 years, somehow we have lost it. The question is now for the 8 years, almost 7 years, we are here in Delhi. We have given a model of how to rule, how the country, how to serve the people. And in today's day, you have seen whether it is education, whether it is a health, whether it is agriculture, whether it is industry, that is industry part will come there, not very important in Delhi, I should admit it. Now the question is whatever during the election time also, and in the last 7 years also, whatever our leader Kejriwal has promised to the people of Delhi, he has delivered it.
Okay.
That is there. And even the last election in 2020, when we were in the before the public, what we have said, that whatever we have promised, we have delivered it, we have done it, and now we are issuing a guarantee card that no benefit will be withdrawn after this, but rather we will add it. So we, Aam Aadmi Party went with this, our model, Delhi model in Punjab. And somehow people, they are convinced also. But in addition to Delhi, as you have rightly said, there are 10 points of that. No?
So the 10-point agenda.
10-point agenda. And the first agenda is education.
Okay.
25% we will add it. Whereas as per the past government, it was only about 11%. That was the education. Then we come to the health. Similarly, we will have 15% of our budget towards the health department. Jabki or previous government, it was 4%.
Okay.
That is there. And besides this, this Punjab is indebted also, about 2.5, this is say about 3 crores you may say. That is another problem, that is problem of the, how we will get the finance from that to serve whatever we have promised.
Okay.
That is already our leader has during the election said how he will arrange that money, whatever is promised, the benefit to farmers, to ladies, and towards employment, towards benefit to the agriculturists and the industrialists also, that is also, and education also.
Okay.
So he has given the roadmap also, how we will arrange the finance.
Okay, now that's a very important and significant part there. I'd like to bring in Mr. K.V. Prasad here. Mr. Prasad, every political party makes promises in elections, so has the Aam Aadmi Party has also done it in terms of its 10-point agenda and various promises. Now, the larger question here is vis-a-vis Punjab, if we have to look at, understand, all of the issues apart. The issue is the financial burden which is already there on the state, the existing financial crisis of the Punjab state government. How do you think it will be possible for the new government to navigate through the existing financial crisis as well, deliver on the promises which it has made in that 10-point agenda?
Well, just to add, I think I'm sure somebody as eminent as Mr. Gupta, who is very good with figures, would have worked out on the table as to what kind of revenue model Punjab would have and the Aam Aadmi Party would present. Yes, it's a challenge, and that's the challenge a political party has taken upon itself by promising, as you said, the 10-point agenda. I think the immediate priority would be for the huge expectation people will have, in terms of giving what is an equivalent of Mohalla clinic, because that's health, and second, education, which again, today, if you hear the speech of the Chief Minister, Mr. Mann, this afternoon, he kept it very short, but kept it very good. Having said that, I think the challenge would be to do this while addressing two very other issues, which was also referred to by Mr. Gupta. One is, how do you turn around the industry? Because that's been a challenge for a while now. And secondly, the challenge of agriculture. Because here is a state where there have been, over the last 30 years, people are talking, you need to diversify because the water tables have gone down. There are a lot of other attendant issues that have cropped up, and this is not new. There is a legacy, if I want to say so. So I think the challenge would be to find a strike a balance, because industry needs jobs, you need growth, you need the GDP to grow. Agriculture is a predominant activity in that state. They have problems associated with that, we all know, for various reasons. They have to attend to it. Then health and education, where huge promises are made by the Aam Aadmi Party. So they have to hit the ground running straight away. Indeed. Health and education is something which, your party government in Delhi has made significant progress, and that is the model which, the Aam Aadmi Party was showcasing in Punjab elections as well. A lot of promises made there, and as Mr. Prasad is also referring to that, those will have to be delivered. But two other aspects, and you also referred to one industry. Mr. Prasad brought in another, agriculture. Now, this becomes really important. And with a full-fledged state like Punjab, and specifically when I'm talking about agriculture, let's not forget that, the farmers of the state were sitting in protest for almost a year on the borders of Delhi as well. So there are very, very important and significant issues. How would your party want to deal with them, navigate also, because it will have to be done in tandem with the center and the aspirations of the farmers in the state as well?
Yeah, that is there, because you have said about agriculture, industry, two things together. Although I am not talking, already said that how much we will allocate to education, how much to health, and that will take care of the 16,000 Mohalla clinic also, which we have promised. Now about industry, if you go into the history, past history of the Punjab, you see it was a well developed, Mr. Prasad will agree with, as far as industry is concerned. It has a, I think, name on the globe itself. But because of this, what I will say, if I am permitted to say, that the looting policy of the previous government, that has somehow, it has lost its fame, as well as, I will say, the people, then they started migrating to the other part of the world. This is a situation. Now we will see that whatever this lost glory of we will see, it will take time. I can agree with you. One thing I will say about this financial burden, which we will have to carry it, because when we took over in Delhi, it was only 30,000 crore of the budget. Now it has crossed about 65,000 crores. That is the way we applied it, and every year we have given a surplus to this. So here also, this Arvind Kejriwal said that we have estimated that the benefit of about 37,000 crore we will pass to the people of the Punjab. It will be a unemployment 5,000 per head unless until they get the employment. Ladies over 18 years, they will get 1,000 per month. Similarly, free supply of electricity to the farmers. So how we will arrange? The total cost, it will about 37,000 crore. And what he has said, even single source of income, that is a mafia, sand mafia. From that he has calculated we will get about 47,000 crore. Still, we will have surplus of 10,000 crore. And then we will invite people, we will invite investors from other part of the world also, because they would like to invest their money. So that will be a different roadmap for that industry.
Okay.
We don't have that roadmap here in Delhi, but we will have that also.
Okay, Mr. Prasad, it's not just about education, health, industry, agriculture as well. It's also about other social aspects. And when we look into the social aspects, corruption is one major issue on the plank on which Aam Aadmi Party also did fight elections. Drug menace, security issues as well. It's a border state, let's not forget. Do you agree that these will also be larger challenges?
See, the fact remains, drug problem is the most difficult problem for people of the state. I mean, their families after families, you read stories in newspapers, reports from the ground have always indicated that the problem, it has actually created havoc in that state, really robbed the youth of its potential to work for the state, and created social unrest. And a lot of families have lost near and dear ones, both in terms of productivity in work and also physically removed from the world. That having been said, I think that's a problem that needs to be attended both at the societal level and the government's determination to work and make sure that if the people behind it are taken to the due course of law is followed in that case.
Okay.
Second comes, as you said, other challenges do come in. You cannot dismiss that some of it are attendant challenges that will come in. Samely industry, we have a few pockets of industrial belts in Delhi, whether it is Okhla or it is Samepur Badli. So those are the two issues that Aam Aadmi Party will have to have a different model when it works in terms in Punjab.
Okay.
Health, we just talked about it, and we talked about this drug. Corruption is a phenomena which Aam Aadmi Party knows best, because that is what has been a USP since the inception of the party, or even before the inception of the party.
Okay.
So they have been promising that. And along with it, I think there are two attendant problems which have been talked about in electoral during the campaign, is the transport sector, which is controlled by certain sections, and attendant is the cable and other acts. So there are issues.
And we've seen a lot of to and fro between the current Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi and the erstwhile Congress government in Punjab when we're talking about the transport sector there. We're also joined by Mr. I.P. Singh here. Let me bring in him, Assistant Editor, The Times of India, joining us from Punjab here. Mr. Singh, welcome to Sansad Television. We're talking about the challenges which the Aam Aadmi Party's government will now face in the state of Punjab while running the government, and of course the expectations as well. Expectations quite high. In your views, what are the key focus areas or key challenges which the new government will have to tackle?
You see, the challenges everywhere. As you said earlier in the discussion, that farmers were on the protesting mode for more than over a year. So even if that protest has been withdrawn, but for now, we are at the state where we were in June 2020. So all the other issues remain there. The only difference is that farm laws were enacted and farm laws were withdrawn. The rest of the state challenges before the state of agriculture remain there as such. So it remains a very, very huge challenge for the new government. It needs to be diversified. But when you diversify, you need to make it sustainable. But when you diversify, how to procure it, how to build up your cooperative infrastructure for alternate crops. These are the biggest issues. Of course, then corruption entrenched so deep. And just in the panel, the discussion was there about drugs issue, right? Punjab police arrested a inspector when Mr. Amrinder Singh's regime started. So the fellow named a few very senior officials, but the probe never went upwards. Now, when Mr. Amrinder Singh was removed and Channi government came, then there was an issue of Advocate General and DGP. You see, when after Navjot Singh Sidhu's insistence, Punjab got new DGP and AG, the STF report, which had serious material about drug trade or the racket or the drug lords involved into it, things started moving. Now, the real challenge for Aam Aadmi Party would be, will it be taking the probe further upwards wherever the name of any officials or any politician has come up, irrespective of, whatever comes up later in the investigation.
Okay.
But preliminary, prima facie, wherever allegations are there in the STF report itself, will be able to carry that forward. Then issues like mining, how to regulate it. In fact, among
Okay.
issues of corruption.
Okay.
So these are the big issues. And let me tell you, expectations are very, very high. People are, I won't believe that people will wait for a long time.
Okay.
The
Indeed.
expectations are so high and frustration is also very high.
Indeed, Mr. Singh, people have given a very thumping mandate to Aam Aadmi Party. They would want results as well. Of course, it will not be immediate, but then the new government will have to, start acting quickly. Now, one aspect here, Mr. Gupta, I'd like to bring in here. And vis-a-vis your rule in Delhi and now the new government which your party is taking charge of in the state of Punjab, the fundamental difference is that now you will also be responsible for law and order, for security as well. Here in Delhi, of course, law and order and security are not under the elected government in Delhi. So that becomes really important, as Mr. Singh was also referring to. Issues like, drug menace, issues like cases vis-a-vis the mining syndicate, which you're also referring to. And then, Punjab being a border state, other security challenges will also be there. You believe that this is one area where extra care will have to be and extra focus will have to be applied by your government there?
I will share one thing with you. Everything it depends on the mindset of the person, those who is sitting in the chair. I will share with you when we took over in the 2015. The first thing we did, we finished the Inspector Raj. We permitted the businessmen to do without any fear, without anything, and the result was that our revenue goes up. They also had a large business. So similarly, question is, that is also we have in 10 point we have taken that we will not allow to fire this function as an Inspector Raj. It will be free. It will go benefit to the industry, it will go to the benefit traders, everything it will go benefit. And it will, simultaneously, it will generate employment also. That is there. As far as you said, the law and order in Delhi and security, I can say if it is under us, it would have been much better. It would have been much better. Because you have seen...
Now you have the chance in Punjab to show that.
Punjab, you will see, then you see the result. I will remind you, there was our government for 45 days. And at that time, the law and order was under us, as far as the ABC is concerned, anti-bureau corruption. And people, even police were, everything was scared that something. So that sort of only the question is, it is not we have to caught people, put them behind the bar. Question is we have to pass a message that you will have to work, you will have to work of the public, you will have to work for the state. Whatever we have lost, we have to bring it back. With that mind, we will work. And I know, and one thing about agriculture, you said it is a very, take a case of Parali. Now, Parali, what is the loss? To remove it, this is the cost of the farmers. Then there is a penalty also. That is it. Now, what we have said, we will convert into it will be a source of income in the hands of the farmers. This is we have a definite plan.
So people in Delhi can look forward to a pollution-free...
that is an additional advantage. That will be additional advantage to address the problem of the pollution also. We will see that it will generate profit, income to the farmers, and it will solve the problem of the pollution also. So everything is clear in our mind. We will start working. We will see the result as in Delhi. And this model... then Punjab model will start travel to the other part of the country.
Let me bring in, Mr. Prasad here as well. Mr. Prasad, vis-a-vis law and order and security, I referred to them earlier as well, but as Mr. IP Singh was pointing out, you believe these will be areas where a lot of focus and a lot of critique will be there also vis-a-vis the Aam Aadmi Party's new government in the state. All eyes will be there on how the new government deals with issues, because most of these issues involve the law and order machinery now, and now the government, led by Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab, of course, being a full-fledged state, it has law and order under it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the fact remains now the police will be reporting to the Chief Minister of Punjab, so it will be directly under his watch, on his watch. And so any action or any inaction will be directly be witnessed. That's one thing. And so Aam Aadmi Party must already be prepared for it, because they know they went with this thing into the campaign, and having juxtaposed it with what they don't have in Delhi, which we just heard again.
I will tell one thing I would like to share with you.
As
far as this is concerned about security, you have seen in our 45 days also, later on also, that how we have managed the things, and income also that we have generated. So that is not a problem in our mind at all, that how we will see.
Okay.
Now question is, now in today's date, this is about 46% debts of the state GDP. But very, very fast we will say generate income also, and we will see that they are also, that in tomorrow day, they should not be a problem for the development of that Vikas problem that is there.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Prasad, you're saying something.
The other aspect which you kept referring to, security. Now everybody knows, and people of Punjab know it better than any one of us, that they have been a neighbor on the western side with Pakistan. So the border state has always been cognizant of the fact. And remember, it's not just the law and order in the state, but the border, we have central forces keeping we have the border security force and other paramilitary forces or the central police organizations, which are there for aid and assistance and also take care. So it's going to be a good coordination, has to be between the center and the state too, because it's a larger area that works on it. And already we've seen there has been an amendment to the act which allows more border and closer areas to the border to come under the central police. So those are the issues there. They will be attended to.
One more
okay, yes.
Regarding that, when we took over in 2015, the first thing we removed the VIP culture.
Okay.
So similarly also, that before even taking the oath, he has taken a decision that all these securities given to different class of people withdrawn and sent them to the police station. As you said, that will really...
those indeed, are the messages there, and how well they are percolated
already started working
down to the base level, and what kind of message. Quickly to summarize it there, Mr. Gupta, in brief 60 seconds, if you could tell us that we've looked at what the priorities are, what the challenges are as well, but how soon do you think your government can send that message across to the population, to the general population, that yes, the promises which were made are being fulfilled and the government is going to stay on the right track as was promised during the elections?
I think it will not take more than 6 months, and message will go to the people of the state that whatever promise, they are working very fast on it, and we will see that before the end of this financial year that there will not be any fiscal deficit, and rather there will be as far as the year is concerned, financial, it will be a surplus, and whatever we have promised, that within a year, maximum within a year, you will see the result. People of Punjab will see the result. They will have a feeling of that. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Prasad, 6 months to a year, Mr. Gupta is putting there. It looks like, the Aam Aadmi Party is in a hurry to go ahead and leave the impression and, make use of that vis-a-vis their own political expansion.
To put just quickly 2 sentences which we heard on this. One is Mr. Gupta saying, and one the gentleman from Punjab just told us, from my fellow journalist. There is no time. Aam Aadmi, and I said it in the program, the Aam Aadmi Party has to hit the road running straight away. And I'm sure the Aam Aadmi Party is aware of it. Having got such a thumping majority and a huge mandate, it obviously will start messaging right now. I mean, it has to send, as Gupta ji has pointed out.
Already started.
Okay.
As well,
so I think, and mind you, one more thing is, Aam Aadmi Party would like to showcase its work in Punjab if it has to be a serious challenge in national politics.
The political expansions there. And then Mr. Gupta is smiling out there. Of course, that would be something which will be on the agenda of the party strategies as well. Thank you so much,
you
Mr.
rightly used the word political expansion.
well, that's what every political party aspires to as well, but that'll depend upon the kind of work which is being done by the party's government in power, and that is why all eyes will be there. Thank you so much, Mr. Narayan Gupta, Mr. K.V. Prasad, and Mr. I.P. Singh there as well for sharing your views and insight with us. And our viewers, as our experts and panelists were pointing out, clearly the expectations are high from the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab, and looks like the time is also short. 5 years, of course, is the time for the new government to, stay in power and, act upon its promises. But as Mr. Narayan Gupta from Aam Aadmi Party was pointing out, that the results should start trickling in within 6 months to 1 year. We'll keep a close watch on all the developments out there and keep on bringing you detailed analysis as well to what happens in Punjab vis-a-vis the governance part. Till then, keep watching Sansad Television. Thank you.